Hey, what's up, everyone? You are listening to possibly one of the most shocking reports I've seen in Japanese entertainment news, probably the last decade or so, maybe even more. You know, having hosted the J and talking about Japanese entertainment for, gosh, I don't even know how long, for J-Ant and also for Neo Tokyo 2099. We've often discussed about the popularity of SMAP and how the group and its members, you know, have defied expectations and their evolution as performers were top notch. They were the kings on television, advertising, and when SMAP broke up, it was a shock, but at the same time, some felt it was inevitable that they would go on their different paths. And for Kimura Takia, that's understandable. For Nakai Masahiro, it's also understandable. He was the captain of SMAP. He was also, um, you know, actually all members have done well for themselves as actors, and some who ventured as talents, TV hosts. Some who ventured more into the commercial space, and then there are those who continue to sing, as mentioned, Kimura Takia. But Nakai Masahiro, he announced that he has resigned from the entertainment industry. And in a way, it's a big shocker, but in a way, after seeing what has happened with his career in the last month, he just felt that he had no other choice. So, pretty much, to break things down of what happened, um, it began with a report from a entertainment publication that got details that Nakai Masahiro settled with a woman for a large undisclosed amount of money. And at first, the report said that he had done something to the woman, which led to a settlement, and not much was known. I remember when I first saw the report, I didn't even know if I wanted to talk about it because there was just speculation. And then he came out and said that, you know, he apologized for people's concerns, but he would be back on television. And there was no apology or anything. It was just more like, "Hey, I'll be back." And people were upset. Japanese netizens were upset. Why were they upset? Because usually in Japan, when there was something of a scandal or something that a person has gotten themselves in so much trouble, they take a lot of time off, maybe a year or two, or they take a break. And personally, for Nakai Masahiro, he had various options to take care of this, and I think this is one of the examples of a PR disaster. Possibly, you know, ever since the whole Johnny situation, and you know how that transpired, he was part of that entertainment company, but he left before things went downhill. But the thing is, the group has is now Star 2 Entertainment, and pretty much they are trying to kick off, a career after, of various groups after a scandal that pretty much rocked the whole entertainment industry in Japan. And they still haven't recovered yet, but they're slowly trying to get their groups of artists back up on the ground. And I think the time and the apologies, and of course, paying all those who were assaulted was a very big step. For Nakai Masahiro, there were various courses he could have took and taken, but I think it came out as cocky. And this is where the problem I felt happened is that because he was one of Japan's top talents on television, hosting many shows, hosting a long time radio show for 25 years on television, on magazines. When you live a life where you are adored by so many fans and loved by so many fans, and you think you are untouchable, that is where hell breaks loose. In a way, some people may equate, if they have something similar in totally different aspects, but in terms of popularity and just seeing it just gone in an instant, people could say, you know what Will Smith did to himself with that slap on Chris Rock, Nakai Masahiro did it to himself. And I'm saying, not saying he slapped himself, but he just pretty much, his demeanor wasn't apologetic. Japan likes to see people who did something wrong pay the price. May it be years off for atonement, but it's what is normal in the Japanese entertainment industry. You pretty much take things face on and you just take a break, a long break. For one, Nakai Masahiro is probably not going to worry so much because he makes a lot of money. But the thing is, though, is that depending on his lifestyle, depending on, how much he'll have to pay, and we don't know if he has to pay anything because of the scandal. Usually in Japan, if you cause certain scandals and it affects the production companies or affects, you know, um, advertisements, advertisers, sometimes the talent gets sued. In Japan, it's actually quite common to see. But Fuji TV already has taken such a big loss because after Nakai mentioned, that he's coming back, Fuji TV pretty much defended Nakai. And what was the result? Nearly, I believe, 70 companies pulled their ads. 75 companies have pulled their ads from Fuji TV. So, Nakai Masahiro, I could tell you when when he was a member of SMAP, he was the awesome leader. Raspy voice, couldn't sing that well, but what he did was he led the team. He knew about sports, he knew about entertaining people, he knew about caring for, caring for, his fans, but also, just being strictly an entertainer, which has led to, his success. But bear in mind, this is not the first time a SMAP member had gotten into major trouble. Back when SMAP was still a group, We saw Inagaki Goro. He got in trouble because he got into his car, and I believe he hit someone. I think it was a female policewoman who was trying to issue him a ticket or something like that. And he pretty much got in his car, bumped his car on her while he was leaving. That was pretty bad. He did come out with an apology, but he was also out, possibly for a long term, like what, 6 months or a year. Kusanagi Tsuyoshi also got in trouble because he went to a park, was super drunk, and started running around naked. He got in trouble, and he was also out for possibly, I think it was what, 6 months or a year. It was a long time, and he also apologized. So what we have here, though, many publications are saying that it was sexual assault. Yesterday, we had a congressman actually, or a politician. I'll just say politician, who claimed that when he was in entertainment, there was a colleague of his that was also allegedly assaulted by Nakai. So then you started to see the newspapers go from one woman to problems with several women. And you started realizing this could be something that we are going to see possibly grow over time. Yeah, people may say, oh, is he like the Diddy of Japan? Uh, don't know about that. But I will say that for those who have followed SMAP, and remember, SMAP was not just a popular boy band who were on radio, who had number one hits, but along with those number one hits, they were on television for a very long time, had a hit variety show for a very long time. They were the staple of generations growing up watching them on television. And even now, from their teens to now their late 40s to 50s. Nakai is 52. He and the others were seen as what was good in Japanese entertainment in terms of, people, ageless idols who can continue to entertain and be popular from their 20s, 30s, 40s, and their 50s. But now, what's going to happen now? You could see this right here. Sponichi, Annex talking about Nakai. You have here Yahoo Japan in count. Not this one right here, but you could see some of the articles right there. Another one. It's just wherever you go, there are things with Nakai everywhere. He lost his radio show, his long time radio show. He lost his all his TV shows. I really think that he thought possibly that when there was a settlement that the details probably would never have gotten out in the media. This was something, done behind the scenes, and it was taken care of financially. Obviously, these publications found out about it, and they reported on it, and it was more than enough that to cause any damage. But the problem was the reaction. The reaction is what set everything off, and it became a downward spiral. If Nakai Masahiro made a an apology to the public that was sincere, and he said, "You know what? I did things. I apologize. I'm going to step away from the entertainment industry and, do it that way, being sincere about it. But instead, oh, I apologize for for all the hassle. I'll be back on TV as soon as possible." In fact, let me get to that article here because I think we can best understand what happened on January 9th. So, okay. So Nakai released a statement saying that I will be able to continue my entertainment activities without any problems. And people are like, netizens were like, "How dare you, dude? For what you did? You think we should be able to accept you on television, vision just like that?" And for me, when I saw this, I just said that, oh my gosh, dude, you really effed up big time. Personally, you should have had your lawyers, your PR consultants there. You know, it was not long ago that we saw another Johnny's Group member, get into major trouble. And I'm talking about Tokyo. And for those of you who are not familiar with that situation, so Yamaguchi Tatsuya, who was a member of Tokyo, he is the bassist, another popular group that was around the same time as SMAP. I always say you got the trifecta. You had Tokyo, you had SMAP, you had Tokyo, and you had V6. And then within that, you saw Arashi, but before Arashi, there was also Kinky Kids. They were the five that were really popular, but SMAP, Tokyo, and V6 mainly for most of the 90s, right? And also Kinky Kids, if you want to add that, because they were really becoming really popular as well. But the thing is, these guys, all of them, were seen as the echelons of Japanese entertainment that came from the mighty Johnny's Empire, Johnny's Jimsho. And Yamaguchi Tatsuya, what he did was that he invited a 16-year-old underage girl who he met through his show NHK, Arno Hosoku, R's Law. And she invited him to his home in February of, I think it was 2018, I think. And he encouraged her to drink alcohol, and he tried to force her to kiss him. So pretty much what that led to is that when the news came out that this happened, he also came out in the press conference saying that, oh, I'll be back. And also, this one pretty much pissed people off to the point that, hold on, guys. And that was my contact just trying to call about what is going on in Japanese entertainment with Nakai Masahiro. And I can tell you right now, people are shocked. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of the message and see what people are saying online right now. So let's see. Okay, so one Japanese netizen said, Nakai-san's loss of job is his own doing. But I don't think it's right to say that he pushed Fuji TV to the brink of ruin. Fuji is on the brink of ruin because it has not been able to dispel the tribute allegations and is not in position of being a victim pushed in the corner by Nakai-kun. That is true. His what happened there, and I said this already, it was the way he handled it, and sometimes that is where having a lawyer and a PR person there to help you, help guide you on what to say is important. We've seen so many people who try to pass things off like they're not at fault, or they do something with crocodile tears and it just doesn't seem sincere. And I can tell you right now, when it comes to Japanese entertainment, they have such a major bullshit meter that a lot of people don't get a second chance, or they do, you're going to have to wait a long time. It's almost kind of like a black ball syndrome. Some, and it's unfortunate because in a way there is a double standard, because with guys, you see them come back. Maybe not on television, but maybe YouTube or something like that. So while Nakai may be retired from the entertainment industry and he may not be able to appear on television anytime soon, um, the fact that he has a legion of fans, I would not be surprised if he follows his other fellow SMAP members and appear on YouTube. Maybe not now, maybe not in 6 months, maybe a year later. I think that's probably the smartest course of action. Um, After all, his other fellow SMAP members have done very well on YouTube, but I think Nakai, I think he needs to uh, just needs to take a break for now, and as some netizens would say, atone for his mistakes, and his fans will always be waiting. Okay, next one. Nakai himself seems to understand that he's not completely absolved from responsibility, but the way he has quickly deleted his social media accounts and rushed to close up shop makes me wonder, does he really intend to face up to this? Are there other crimes he committed in the first place? Well, as I mentioned, there was a politician who came out yesterday saying that he knows of a talent who was allegedly assaulted, and so he believes that there are going to be more women that will be coming out. So we will see if that happens or not. But the thing is that um, there is a pattern of abuse that would be terrible. And this is the same thing there, and this is this actually uh, looks bad on I don't want to say the new company that became Star Two Entertainment, but with Johnny's, you know, people might say that this is another product of the Johnny's um, family, and it's of the problems, the bad things that were inherited. And the thing is that it's not. I doubt that is part that has nothing to do with it. I think that's coincidence. Nakai Masahiro and other talent such as Yamaguchi Tatsuya of Tokyo, they all made their decisions. They're grown men, and the problem is that when you feel that you are too popular, that you can do anything you want and get away with it, well, you can't. All it takes is getting caught, and next thing you know, you lose your career. Um, Yamaguchi Tatsuya, he's still not back, but what he's had a few mistakes too, because after that incident, after he came out, he got into himself into an accident, wasn't it? I'm not sure if it was alcohol related, but the thing is that he's now been sober. He worked to fix on his life, and now he's touring Japan, talking about and trying to help people. I believe those who have had, I'm not sure if it's alcoholism or, but the thing is that he's using his situation, as embarrassing as it may be, to help others. And I think that's very noble and that's a good step. It's the right step of moving forward for that. And I have to say that some people don't get chances like that. Um, Major singer Makihata no Yuki, usually when people get caught with narcotics, they don't get that many chances. He's had several, but he's way popular as a singer, songwriter, and that's understandable. But again, do the opposite with a female, and they don't get a second chance. Their career is pretty much over. So there is a double standard. Um, I understand that there is a duty of confidentiality, but it's fine for a victim to say, I had a hard time. I suffered a terrible experience. I was traumatized. I experienced something unimaginable. But when various speculations spread in response, it's not okay for the perpetrator to say, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. I can't tell you what I did. I fully understand that the perpetrator is wrong, but in this day and age, why is it acceptable for the victim to make a statement after a settlement that will likely to lead to various speculations? Um, See, the thing is that I'm not sure in Japan, but when you have a settlement, was it supposed to be private and not like there's usually like an NDA signed? This cannot be discussed in public. There's some who say screw the NDA. They said screw the money that the settlement. I want to go forward with this with a full lawsuit. We don't know the details on that, but the thing is that again, it was allegedly that he settled for 90 billion yen, 90 million yen, not 90 billion yen, or was it 90 billion yen? I have to look that up. Um, let's see here. Let's get a some details on the actual thing here. By the way, for those of you who are wondering about the actual apology, Nakai said, I, Nakai Masahiro, will retire from the entertainment industry as of today. In addition, my company, Nonbiri Nakai Company Limited, will close down as soon as the remaining procedures and work are completed. In making this announcement, all the meetings regarding the termination, resignation, cancellation, and termination of contracts with the various TV stations, radio stations, and sponsors that I have been involved in have been completed, and today has come. On the other hand, he apologized, saying, I do not think that I have fulfilled all of my responsibilities with this. I will continue to face various issues sincerely and deal with them in good faith. I personally take full responsibility. I am truly sorry for causing so much trouble and loss to so many people. A lot of pain to so many people. Then he said, once again, I would like to sincerely apologize to the other party that I've caused trouble, and to all involved parties, apologize again. I am very, very sorry. So, yeah, that is crazy. That is very crazy. To hear this type of apology coming so long after the incident happened. Well, it's not super long, but that was almost like 2 weeks ago. This should have been done immediately. These are the apologies that he should have said. By the way, this was released on the fan club website, membership website, not to the public. It got out to the public, but this was not an apology, and that's one thing that another kind of rubs people. Why not a general apology? So, but he did say that he wanted to meet all of you at the Wig Club, even once I couldn't meet with you. And then he just says, I'm truly, truly sorry. This is how we part ways. Goodbye. Wow. So he said goodbye to his fandom. his X account was also deleted. So, by the way, going back to Yamaguchi Tatsuya, as I was looking here, so he said that he's going on a lecture tour and pretty much giving lectures based on his own experience while undergoing treatment for alcoholism. So, again, he is doing his best, even years after. This is almost like 7 years later, and he's still atoning for what he did. Has not appeared on any entertainment shows, mainly interviews, talking about how he messed up. And bear in mind that his fellow members of Tokyo, they some of them went ballistic, and they were quick to kick him out of the group. They were still a group though, but his fellow members were really pissed. There's some who stood by his side, say, "Hey, you know, they stood by him, as a friend and a colleague, but at the same time saying, hey, he messed up and he has to pay for it." But the thing is that I think when Yamaguchi said that when he had this arrogance of wanting to come back to Tokyo right away, people are like, that's where the members got mad. And I think this is the same thing with Nakai Masahiro, is that it's the same type of arrogance of saying, hey, um, I'm going to continue. And of course, netizens, media, they jumped out on it and just said, hey, this is sending the wrong message. What you're doing is wrong. And again, it all comes out on delivery and communication. And this was an example of a terrible, terrible way to handle these affairs in the public. And it's a shocker considering that Nakai Masahiro, that is one of the top talents in Japan with so much power, with so many people who love watching him, supported them. You know what? This for me, and I was a SMAP fan and still am a SMAP fan, but it's tough to see people that you followed and watched end up like this. Because as you grow older, you're supposed to grow. You're supposed to become wiser. But we are seeing way too many adult entertainers not using their head and thinking with their other head and messing things up. Really, I it's just terrible, and it's unfortunate. It's just very unfortunate. By the way, again, I'm going back to the settlement. Let's see here. In terms of the settlement that Nakai did, my goodness, there's just so much news to look up here with Nakai Masahiro. It's not the kind of news that you want to see, I tell you that much. Especially when you've seen them in so many TV shows. I mean, jeez, Warate Itomo to, gosh, I don't know how many music station, SMAP, SMAP. Then it's just insane, man. Because he's been part. A lot of people grew up watching Nakai on television. That's how many years he's been on television. Dude, I mean, heck, can you remember those Gotcha Man commercials when he and the group members of SMAP were doing Gotcha Man? That was freaking awesome. Okay, so the reported settlement, it was for 90 million yen, which equates to $578,000. Ooh, that's a lot of money. But Not sure what happened there, man. Not sure what happened. That's just terrible. But anyway, what are your thoughts of this whole situation with involving Nakai Masahiro? Let's go ahead and continue to read other comments here. He probably didn't expect it himself, but I think the speed of the withdrawal is typical of Nakai. It's like everything that existed until now has disappeared as if it were a lie. That's kind of scary. What he did is unforgivable. But a person who has only done this job and is still in the prime of his career, has a signature TV show, and is active in this world, disappears within a month. That is true. Settlements are difficult. I think that when a settlement is reached, both parties have something to protect. Since it's a settlement payment, if the information was leaked, the money should be returned, and there should be something like a penalty. Of course, I think it's fair if Nakai-kun agrees to the settlement, knowing that he is in the wrong. That is true. There's a point there, and I've said it. How, if this was a settlement, wasn't this supposed to be kept private? And who leaked it? He may have made many mistakes, but he was the kind of person who was able to help those around him when they were in trouble, like when the earthquake, and tsunami disaster. Even after he retires, I hope he will start over again and do his best in some way. Now is too dangerous of a time for him when he is overwhelmed and disheartened. I hope those around him will be careful. It is truly unfortunate that Nakai, a big star in the entertainment industry who has given hope and dreams to many people, has retired from the industry in this way. However, if the scandal is true, it cannot be helped. And I hope that Fuji TV, other TV stations, the entertainment industry, and sponsors will investigate thoroughly and make efforts to ensure the same thing never happens again. The Nakai case and the Fuji TV case, which should be considered separately, have come together and are being raised daily by sponsors, weekly magazines, SNS, which is social media, with speculation spreading rapidly. Even if the information differs, the flow cannot be stopped, and it is even more difficult because the matter has been settled and cannot be discussed. Since he himself has commented that he is completely at fault, I feel that it can't be helped. He says that he will deal with it even after his retirement, and I hope that he will face it honestly and not push himself too hard, both physically and mentally. Another person says, I don't think Nakai is the only one to have this problem. I also think similar things exist at places other than Fuji TV. So some of you may be wondering, why is Fuji TV taking a lot of heat? And that is pretty much because of okay. Let's explain. Let's explain it. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, so the trouble began when it said that at a dinner party back in 2023, the dinner was originally scheduled to be held with Nakai, a programming executive from Fuji TV, and a woman who works in the entertainment industry. Supposedly, she works at Fuji TV. No one knows if she's a news anchor, she's an actress. It's not been disclosed. But the program executive, was unable to attend, leaving only Nakai and the woman together, and the two were to have dinner with each other. But something happened when they were supposed to have dinner. It said like a serious problem arose between the two behind closed doors, and yeah, and it's escalated into something very bad. After that, a discussion was held between Nakai and the woman through a representative. Nakai reportedly paid a settlement of 90 million yen. Nakai's agency said through their attorney, please understand that the matter has been resolved through discussion between the two parties before. We have mutual confidential agreement, so we will not answer publicly. So there was a confidentiality agreement. The question is, who leaked that? Sometimes, I don't know. Maybe she confided in a friend, and that friend leaked it. We don't know. But there's just so much speculation, and I think right now the true details are not known. Sponichi did look into it, and they said that Nakai contacted a woman who was working at a broadcasting station at the time and went out to eat with her. The incident in question occurred after the dinner, and the woman reported to her employer that she had been sexually assaulted. It is unclear whether she was actually sexually assaulted, as it occurred between just the two of them, but Nakai later appointed an attorney to negotiate the matter and paid a settlement to resolve this matter. Again, that was an article, but again, these are speculations. No one knows because there is a mutual confidentiality agreement. Fuji TV denied a weekly magazine report that a Fuji TV employee was involved in the trouble between Nakai and the woman. Some weekly magazines had reported that a senior employee of the station had set up the dinner party. We know that. But some online media cited these reports linked to a series of slanderous and libelous comments against the station. The station claimed the contents contained factual information and the employee in question was not involved in the dinner party mentioned in the article, including setting up the party, and appealed, "We cannot overlook any content that could lead to slander or libel, so please refrain from posting it." So what's been happening is that a lot of talent with Fuji TV, uh, women who are probably well known in the industry, people started speculating, saying, "Oh, what if it's this person?" And then leading to trouble for them, saying, having them trying to force them to come out and say, "Well, I'm not the woman who was sexually assaulted, or I was not the woman who they." This was really unnecessary, and unfortunately, that's what's happening. You got people in social media trying to get these other women, innocent women who work for Fuji TV involved, and it's just leading in this type of troubled situation and with speculation. But at the same time, it happens when there is nothing clear cut. Clear cut. You have something that may have leaked. A lawyer who said that it was been taken care of and they can't say anything due to confidentiality. So they run with this story on multiple media saying alleged assault, and he comes out with an apology. There's just people are like, "So did this happen? Did it happen?" And there's no refuting it. He's just taking responsibility. So people pretty much expect what happened is actual truth, fact, and it may not be. So the thing is that I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing case for weeks to come, months to come. There have been other people who have gotten in trouble again in Japanese entertainers. A lot of guys, a lot of comedians. But I think the reason why this one stings so much is because Nakai is just he was a generational talent that entertained generations of Japanese. From ever since they came out and debuted as SMAP back in 1991, all the way through January 2025, and then unfortunately, after that first week, that's when all hell broke loose. So I don't know what's going to happen, to tell you the truth, but I could tell you this much: the whole thing was just done terribly. I wish there was lawyers or some PR company that could have helped him, especially with his comments that he sent out. And unfortunately, those things get misconstrued. There should have been a public, you know, maybe a press conference or something like that, just nail things in the bud and just say, I mean, you can't do it now. It's just too late. He's already announced it to his fan club that he's quitting, and there's no way to fix this. Only time will fix this. Not fix the situation, but to repair if he has any type of way to come back. Because there are other people who have been accused for things, and it's just unfortunate. And we are seeing right now with downtown's comedian Hitoshi Matsumoto-san. He is fighting that, and he's had women say he did this, sexually assaulted, and there's other women who came out to support him, say, hey, no, he would never do anything like this. And they were at some who were even at that party. So the thing is, you'll see Matsumoto really, fighting hard to defend his name. I believe he's been doing that, and that's been on the news as well of his battle. But this is something we are seeing, from affairs to narcotic scandals, alcoholism, accidents. It happens. But the thing is that when it's someone that has the top television programs, radio program, this doesn't happen like that. It usually happens to someone, maybe a comedian that you see on TV maybe once every few months, but not someone you see on TV every day, every evening. See commercials, everything. It just that doesn't usually happen. And I think if anything, this is a black eye for the Japanese entertainment industry, and it's unfortunate. Thank you for sticking with me for this long video. It's tough, man. It's just, I followed Nakai for so long, and, as the leader of SMAP, you have nothing but respect for the person because he was like the athlete, the person who was there, for his members. You know, the way he handled hosting, he was an ace. Heck, you even saw it when Bistro SMAP came out and he was doing the whole, you know, as he was the guy that would, do all the hosting, the speaking. He had that knack. Even when he was filming his films, they were pretty awesome. It's just the thing is that I think you just don't understand how someone who has so much can throw it all away. But yet at the same time, you know, we've seen things to other major talents in the West. And if Will Smith is an example of that, and if, Johnny Depp is a symbol of that, you have seen how Will Smith, all it took was a few years and Bad Boys, the latest movie, to come out and show that Will Smith still has drawing power. You had people defend Johnny Depp to the ends of the earth on social media and feel they are vindicated, when he won that lawsuit. So we are familiar with that in the West. In Japan, it's it's a little bit different. Public sentiment, like you see in the West, doesn't happen in Japan. You screw up, you're pretty much out of a career. If you're a female, indefinitely. If you're a guy, give it a few years and you'll be back again. Could take about 5 or 10 years, but you'll be back again. And if you're not back, you always have social media, YouTube. So, I don't know. But you know what? Nikai's made a lot of money. And the thing is that unlike other entertainers out there, at least he didn't do anything that would lead to incarceration or anything. And if anything, he just makes amends, and he should continue with with the helping of people. Again, SMAP, when he was involved, how he helped people for heck, even just for decades. You know, when he all the stuff that they did in helping people in locations that were ravaged by earthquakes or the tsunami. He's been there. He's done that, and perhaps you know he can still do that. He can still show that this, that he intends to make good, and with the fans and everything that he is atoning for what he did, and there's ways to at least put a band-aid on some of that hurt out there that he's caused his fans. But at the same time, yeah, this is a big one. Okay, everyone, Nakai Masahiro has officially retired from the entertainment industry. It was inevitable, but at the same time, not the way we wanted this guy to go. It's unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. Okay, everyone, you take care, and I will see you later. Wink, wink, and